How's it going, everyone? Another top 30 visit for the Packers. So this one is going to be another cornerback in Jason Marshall Jr. out of Florida University. So Jason Marshall Jr., he comes in as the 27th best ranked cornerback in this year's draft and 235th overall. So this is more of a late day 3 kind of pick. He comes in with a RAS score of a 9.42, so a pretty high RAS score that the Packers like. A height of 6 feet, weighs 194 pounds, and did a vertical jump of 37.5 inches and a broad jump of 10 feet and 5 inches, and ran the 40-yard dash in 4.49 seconds. Not the super fastest, but nothing to really scoff at. So a pretty athletic cornerback in this draft. And if we're to look at his 40-yard time compared to everyone else that ran it at the NFL Combine, that would put him at 17th best out of all the corners. So not near the top, but he's not towards the bottom. The slowest time in the 40-yard dash for corners was Mello Dotson at 4.59. So a tenth of a second faster than the slowest corner. For his time at the college level, he played 4 years, all at Florida. In his first season in 2021, played in 13 games, had 23 combined tackles and 2 tackles for loss, and 1 interception with 3 pass defended. In his second year, played in 13 games again, 29 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Once again, 1 pick and 8 pass defended. In his third year, played in 12 games, 26 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, no picks, and 10 pass defended. And then in his final year, only played in 7 games, had 20 combined tackles, 2 tackles for loss, no interceptions once again, and 4 pass defended. In his final year, he was unfortunately injured against the game against Kentucky in October, and he's tore his labrum while tackling a ball carrier, and unfortunately, he injured his labrum, and then he required surgery, which put him out for the entire year for his final season, but was able to come back and at least participate in the East-West Shrine Bowl and also at the NFL Combine. Now, over on the PFF side for his grades in his first year, as you can see, he pretty much always started and played for Florida. But in his first year, had a 71.1 defensive grade, a 59.5 run defense grade, and a 72.3 coverage grade. Second year, 65.9 defensive grade, 66.1 run defense grade, and a 66.3 coverage grade. Third year, 68.6 defensive grade, a 69.4 run defensive grade, and a 66.4 coverage grade. In his final year, 71.2 defensive grade, 68.4 run defensive grade, and a 72.1 coverage grade. So by far was kind of having a better season and probably one of his best grade-wise. Now, something to note though, he didn't really allow a lot of catches. For his pretty much career, he allowed a 47.6 reception percentage. In his final year, it was a 52.6 reception percentage, and the year before that, a 44.7 reception percentage, so pretty low. But despite how low that reception percentage is, he was allowing a lot of big plays. So in 2023, he allowed 24.2 yards per catch, which is astronomical. So yes, he did not allow a lot of catches, but when he did, they went for a lot of yards. And then he also did talk about in that junior, he was kind of losing confidence to where he could see it on tape, but he kind of came back better in the year 2024. And that's where like his reception percentage was a little bit increased, but he allowed 17.3 yards per reception, which is lower than the 24.2, still a bit high, but it did come down at least 7 yards. So what are some of the pros for him? Prototypical size and length for an NFL boundary cornerback, allowing him to match up with bigger receivers on the outside. Excels in press man coverage using his long arms and strong hands to disrupt receivers at the line of scrimmage. Displays excellent patience and technique when mirroring releases, rarely opening his hips too early or biting on double moves. Possesses the fluidity and change of direction skills to stick with receivers throughout their routes in man coverage. Shows impressive ball skills and awareness in zone coverage, consistently getting his head around to locate the football. Demonstrates good route recognition and closing speed, allowing him to jump short and intermediate routes effectively. Proven ability to match up against top-tier SEC receivers, showcasing his competitiveness and confidence in high-pressure situations. And versatile defender with experience in various coverage schemes, making him a fit for multiple NFL defensive systems. And now for some of the cons for him, occasionally relies too heavily on his physical tools, leading to grabby play and potential penalties when beaten vertically. Can be inconsistent in run support, sometimes taking poor angles and failing to disengage from blocks effectively. Needs to improve his tackling technique and consistency, as he can be prone to arm tackles or whiffs in the open field. May struggle initially against NFL caliber route runners who can exploit his occasional stiffness in transition. And overall, it seems like he has a lot of the physical tools that you would look for in an outside boundary cornerback. He's big, he's physical, he's got long arms, he can track the ball pretty well, and he seems to pretty much excel in man coverage. There is some left to be desired in zone coverage, but of course not every draft prospect is going to be a complete 100 out of 100 perfect specimen. So of course they're going to need stuff to improve on, and his would seem to be in zone coverage and also tackling in the run defense. It seems like in run defense he's a bit poor, he whiffs a bit and doesn't pretty much body tackle and do it fundamentally. He just kind of puts his arm out there and then he whiffs. So for the Packers and his fit, I think he would actually fit with the Packers. Corner is currently a need in this draft. Once again, without knowing what's going on with Jair, it's a need in this year's draft. And he's going to be a late day 3 pick. He's projected to potentially go in round 6 or round 7. So it's not going to take a lot of draft capital to pick him if he's available, depending on where they have him on the board. But considering he's such a late pick, and if he's available, depending on where the Packers have him, if it's in round 6 or even in round 7, considering we have multiple draft picks in round 7, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on. It was a starting corner in the SEC who has definitely the size, the build, and the athleticism to pretty much match up with big body receivers, especially in man coverage. Why not take a flyer on that? Maybe Jeff Hafley can actually get some of the fundamentals down. I know Jeff Hafley is not going to like make every corner amazing or increase how good they are, considering Eric Stokes, we're hoping he would do better, but he didn't. But considering it's a late day 3 pick, I would draft him, try to get Jeff Hafley, as that's his specialty in cornerbacks, to develop him. And maybe he could become something. We've done well in the later rounds in finding those gems. Maybe this could be one. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.